When most people go searching for information about Teslas or electric vehicles in general, they usually end up with one of two extreme perspectives. On one side are the loyal enthusiasts who believe Tesla can do no wrong. To them, every aspect of the brand is revolutionary, every shortcoming excusable, and every vehicle a glimpse into the future of transportation. Their reviews and discussions tend to glow with positivity, focusing on speed, technology, and the novelty of electric driving. On the opposite side are the detractors who are critical of electric vehicles altogether. These voices often emphasize flaws, exaggerate problems, and frame Teslas as unreliable machines plagued with issues, insisting that EVs are not worth the money or the trouble. The difficulty for an ordinary buyer is that both of these perspectives are heavily biased. The truth about what it is like to own and live with a Tesla, especially a used one, often lies somewhere between these extremes. A more grounded view comes from someone who actually owns and drives a very high-mileage Tesla. Consider the example of a Model S with over 110,000 miles on its odometer, purchased used and driven daily. This perspective is not shaped by fandom or by opposition, but by genuine ownership, where the positives and negatives reveal themselves naturally over time. Examining such a car allows for a balanced understanding. What Teslas do remarkably well, where they fall short, and what a prospective buyer should truly expect if they decide to purchase one, especially on the used market. One of the most compelling aspects of this older Model S is its performance. Even after surpassing 100,000 miles, the acceleration remains astounding. Electric motors deliver torque instantly, creating a level of responsiveness that traditional internal combustion engine (ICE) cars struggle to match unless they climb into the realm of supercars costing hundreds of thousands of dollars. The sense of speed and effortless power is one of Tesla's signature qualities, and it holds true even for a used vehicle that has been driven extensively. In this case, the car was purchased for around $20,000, yet it delivers performance comparable to exotic vehicles costing many times more. For those who love driving, this kind of value is difficult to ignore. However, while the driving experience is thrilling, the physical build of the car reveals significant weaknesses. Panel gaps and misaligned doors are visible even on cars that were once priced at well over $100,000 when new. On this particular Model S, one of the doors does not line up properly, an issue that causes wind noise during highway driving. The problem is not unique. Tesla has long been criticized for inconsistent build quality. Compared to established luxury automakers like BMW or Mercedes-Benz, which generally deliver precise fit and finish, Teslas can appear rushed or sloppily assembled. The issue is even more pronounced on the Model 3, where doors may look like they are not fully closed from certain angles. Plastic clips are prone to breaking, and interior materials such as the steering wheel leather can wear prematurely. The contrast between the Model S and the Model 3 is especially striking. The Model 3, despite being newer in design, rides harshly and transmits a great deal of road noise into the cabin. The handling lacks refinement, and the overall feel is often compared to a budget compact car rather than a premium sedan. In fact, the ride quality has been likened to that of an inexpensive mid-2000 economy car. Fast, yes, but lacking the polish and comfort expected in a modern luxury vehicle. The Model S, by contrast, manages to provide a genuinely premium driving experience. Its suspension feels substantial. The car carries a sense of weight and stability, and aside from the occasional wind noise caused by door misalignment, the cabin remains relatively quiet. In daily use, it feels closer to a high-end European sedan, which explains why it becomes the preferred choice for regular driving over the newer but rougher Model 3. Another major benefit of owning a Tesla comes from the way it changes the refueling experience. Instead of making regular trips to a gas station, the car can simply be plugged in overnight at home, much like charging a smartphone. For drivers who rarely exceed their daily range, this convenience eliminates an entire category of errands. With a rated range of around 340 miles when new, though realistically closer to 300, the Model S in question easily covers everyday driving needs. In fact, in this ownership case, the driver has never once had to visit a public charging station. The home charging setup ensures the car is always ready the next day, which saves time and effort compared to fueling a traditional vehicle. Yet convenience and performance are only part of the story. From a financial perspective, Teslas present a complicated picture. Used values have collapsed dramatically in recent years. A car that once cost upwards of $120,000 can now be found on the market for as little as $20,000 to $25,000 after just 6 or 7 years. On the one hand, this creates an opportunity for used buyers to access advanced technology and remarkable performance for a fraction of the original price. On the other hand, it spells trouble for those who purchase their Teslas new and watch their investment lose value rapidly. For individuals accustomed to seeing luxury cars retain at least a portion of their prestige pricing over time, the steep depreciation of Teslas can be surprising and discouraging. Maintenance and repair also bring both positives and negatives. Teslas are unique in that they require service at specialized Tesla centers rather rather than independent mechanics. For some owners, this is manageable. In this particular case, the nearest service center is a 30-minute drive away, which is not unreasonable. Setting appointments through Tesla's app is straightforward, and the overall process feels smoother than dealing with many traditional dealerships or mechanic shops. Costs for repairs, at least for common issues, have been fairly reasonable when compared to what a BMW or Mercedes-Benz owner might expect for equivalent problems. That said, the need for specialized service is itself a limitation. Problems such as malfunctioning door handles, faulty trunk latches, or failing half shafts, issues that appear relatively often in Teslas, can only be repaired at Tesla's facilities. When everything goes smoothly, this is manageable, but delays in repair timelines can create significant inconveniences, especially for owners who live hours away from the nearest service center. In one instance, repairs estimated to be completed in a single day stretched into two, requiring an extra round trip. For those living much farther away, such as 3 or more hours from a service location, the situation could mean hotel stays and lost time in addition to the repair itself. Even if the repairs are covered under warranty, the logistical challenges make service a burden compared to traditional vehicles, which can usually be serviced at countless local shops. The largest and most concerning issue of all, however, relates to the battery. Tesla fans often insist that battery replacements are rare and that most owners will never face the expense. Yet evidence suggests otherwise. Many used Teslas, especially those with higher mileage, have already had their batteries replaced under warranty. In fact, when examining multiple used Teslas at auctions and dealerships, it was found that nearly all had undergone major battery service at some point. This particular Model S received a brand new battery at around 90,000 miles, fortunately covered by warranty. Without that coverage, the replacement would have cost roughly $15,000, an enormous expense, especially when the car itself was purchased for just over $20,000. This reality raises serious concerns about long-term ownership. As more Teslas age out of warranty, owners may find themselves facing repair bills that rival or exceed the value of the entire vehicle. At that point, the car essentially becomes disposable, a situation where it may be cheaper to abandon the vehicle or sell it for parts rather than invest in a new battery. This undermines the perception of longevity and sustainability that electric vehicles are often associated with. While Tesla promotes the idea that its batteries last for many years, real-world evidence from high-mileage used vehicles suggests that replacements are far more common than acknowledged. In the end, Teslas may not fully align with the glowing promises of their most ardent fans, nor do they quite fit the narrative of doom presented by their critics. Instead, they occupy a middle ground filled with both advantages and drawbacks. For someone buying a used Tesla, the experience can be rewarding, provided they approach it with clear eyes and realistic expectations. The thrill of acceleration, the freedom from gas stations, and the advanced technology can make ownership enjoyable, but the financial risks and potential for expensive repairs should not be overlooked. Owning a very used Tesla, then, is less about choosing between hype or skepticism, and more about recognizing the balance of benefits and challenges that come with one of the most talked about cars of the modern era.